This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's two major political parties are in a standoff on donation disclosure, sparked by an interstate Labor Party dinner. The Premier is demanding the opposition reveal details of the event, but is refusing to say how much the gaming industry is funneling into the Liberal campaign.
Buying real estate wasn't quite on the Premier's agenda.
Man cave by the looks.
Today narrowing the focus on the opposition. Revelations the Labor Party held a fundraiser in Victoria at the expense of a company known for its electronic gaming machines, just months before revealing a policy to rid pubs and clubs of poker machines.
For Rebecca White to take money from gambling interests interstate, yet come back here and demonise anyone who's involved in the industry is alarming hypocrisy.
The dinner event that occurred last year was well before the committee had handed down its finding and well before Labor announced its policy. What is absolutely clear is that that money did not buy influence.
Tasmania's Hospitality Association is campaigning against the Labor Party, backed by the gaming monopoly licence holder Federal Group. Labor says no donations have been offered by the gaming industry this financial year.
The Liberal Party came out and said that Labor should say how much money they've taken from the gaming machine industry. If it's good enough for the Labor Party, then I think it's good enough for Will Hodgman.
I'm not able to disclose that figure, and that's because I'm not aware of any donations that have been made.
Pretending that he doesn't know that the Federal Group is bankrolling their campaign. I call that blatant dishonesty and an attempt to mislead the voters of Tasmania.
A new report by the Australia Institute today suggesting less than 1% of poker machine revenue goes to Tasmanian pubs and clubs, almost 50% taken by the Federal Group owned by the Sydney-based Farrell family.
What the Labor Party policy will do is keep that $110 million in local hands, see that spent in local businesses, creating Tasmanian jobs.
The report rejected by the Federal Group, the company claiming it's a personal and politically motivated attack. Federal Group says it contributes to the economy more than $1 million paid through taxes. Jacqui Lambies, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's political parties have been out on the hustings for day 10 of the election campaign. The Liberal Party today promising a discount on stamp duty for first home buyers, also pledging a new trades and water centre of excellence located in the state's south.
We've chosen Clarence as the centre of excellence because of the accommodation facilities at Clarence, but also some of the $7 million investment is for online training as well and developing an online platform.
The Labor Party spruiking its new education policy with a focus on additional support for students with a disability. The Health Minister has responded to leaked data from the Royal Hobart Hospital, putting the concerning performance statistics down to a bad flu season. But nurses and doctors say that's not the whole problem and claim issues of bed block have recently faced the Launceston General Hospital too.
A data leak from the Royal Hobart Hospital showing symptoms of a health system under pressure. The Minister responding today.
I think it confirms what we've already been showing with other data, which shows that we had the most horrendous flu season last year, and our staff managed magnificently through the worst flu season that's hit our state in decades.
The leaked data shows only 16% of admitted patients were transferred from emergency to a ward within 4 hours. In 2017, the average time spent in the ED before transferring blew out to more than 10 hours. Doctors say it's evidence of bed block caused by limited hospital capacity above emergency.
Our hospitals beyond our emergency department don't have the capacity to deliver the throughput that our emergency departments need for them. So the bed block situation, and that's impacting back on waiting times in our emergency department.
They're constantly over capacity, constantly seeing ambulances ramped and nurses struggling to be able to provide the best quality care that they can to patients in very trying circumstances.
Nurses say the pressure is being felt across the state.
And we've heard from members just this week at the Launceston General Hospital that they're having similar issues in relation to bed block and have been since around the middle of 2017.
We understand that there will be some politics played around this issue, but from our government's point of view, we've got more staff, more beds and more to come.
And more health policy announcements expected before the election. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Devonport Mayor Steve Martin has confirmed he will take over Jacqui Lambies' seat in the Senate after he was found to be eligible yesterday. It will make him Tasmania's newest senator, with Richard Colbeck also expected to be sworn back in on Monday.
Taking his family on a tour through Canberra's Parliament House, which will soon be Mr Martin's second home.
I'm quite excited about the prospects of getting on with the job.
It's a job that's been vacant since Jacqui Lambies declared she was a dual citizen last November. Her shock exit wasn't easy to fill, as Mr Martin, who was second on the Jacqui Lambies Network Senate ticket in 2016, is also the Mayor of Devonport, and he needed to be found eligible to take up her seat by the High Court. That happened yesterday. Now he's waiting to formally be declared a senator, which is expected to occur first thing Friday morning.
I'm going in as a Jacqui Lambies candidate, and I haven't altered from that from day one.
Ms Lambies wouldn't speak on camera today. Instead, her spokesman issued a statement saying, from the perspective of the Jacqui Lambies network, there was an overwhelming expectation that the proper thing to do was for Mr Martin to create a casual vacancy.
Well, Jacqui hasn't asked me that personally at this stage. She's been busy running the state election. I've been busy being the Devonport Mayor.
If Mr Martin hadn't decided to fill the Senate seat, it would have created a casual vacancy. That means the Jacqui Lambies network would have been able to nominate someone to fill the seat. That most likely would have been Jacqui. While Mr Martin sat in the public gallery today, he's expected to take his Senate seat on Monday. Former Liberal Senator Richard Colbeck is also awaiting being sworn in following the resignation of Stephen Parry. That too is expected for Monday. Mr Martin says he is able to be both Mayor and Senator, but we'll discuss that with Devonport Council staff.
First point of business will be to avoid a by-election, which would cost the Devonport ratepayers $50,000 to $60,000.
Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
The death of 16 horses travelling on board a truck on the Spirit of Tasmania last month is being investigated. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority confirmed the incident today. It's understood the horses had competed at the Barnbougle Polo on January 20. The Maritime Authority says it's satisfied the Spirit of Tasmania adhered to regulations relating to the transportation of livestock. The investigation is now in the hands of the Department of Primary Industries, Parks, Water and Environment. 2 Tasmanian women are tonight in hospital in a serious condition following a car crash at Scamander. Emergency services were called to the single vehicle crash on the Tasman Highway just after midday. Police believe the 71-year-old driver lost control of the car before it rolled several times, injuring her and the 97-year-old passenger. The women were taken to the St Helens District Hospital. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. The coroner has issued a warning about the need to slow down near school buses. Today, releasing an investigation into the 2012 death of Ashley Edmonds in the Upper Derwent Valley. The 13-year-old was run over by a passing ute after she left a school bus and crossed the road. The driver of the ute was found to be travelling at 80 kilometres per hour, well above the 40k restriction near school buses. The coroner hasn't made any recommendations, only reiterating the incident is a tragic reminder to take care. From some of our state's best athletes to inspirational role models, Tasmanians from all walks of life today carried the Queen's baton across the north and northwest. It was an emotional moment of triumph for some, while for others it was the next step towards winning Commonwealth Games gold.
Starting in the heart of Launceston, in the hands of an Olympic great. As the sun rose, boxer Daniel Gill began the Queen Baton's Tasmanian journey in the Cataract Gorge.
The Commonwealth Games, I guess, was a massive step in my journey. It was, a step for me to prove, I guess, how far I'd come. And, obviously when I won the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, things just kept moving on up from then.
A celebrity welcome for baton bearers at East Launceston Primary School. Then young Holly Bennett led the way as the relay took off through the CBD. passed from community legends to sporting heroes. Cyclist Amy Cure basked in the glory as she waits to find out later this month if she's made the Commonwealth Games team.
Come up from Sulphur Creek on the northwest coast to see my granddaughter carrying the baton. And it was all very, very special.
I've been to 2 Olympics and a Commonwealth Games already. I've won a couple of Commonwealth Games medals, so I think for this time it would be changing those medals to gold.
Today's golden moment came from Jack Duffy and his dad Chris. Jack has cerebral palsy spastic quadriplegia, but this morning walked for the first time as a sea of fans cheered him on.
It was very emotional halfway through. Lucky I had sunnies on and I could hide. But no, it was good fun. Kids like Jack, people don't realise a lot of times the challenges they go through, and to do something like that is quite significant.
More than 120 people will carry the baton across our state. It will be taken to Cradle Mountain tomorrow before journeying south to Hobart on Friday. The baton's 100-day Australian journey will conclude on the Gold Coast on April 4 for the Games opening ceremony. Lambies Senate, Southern Cross News.
Around 60,000 public school students have headed back to the classroom for the start of Term 1. For some families, it's been an anxious day, sending children to school for the first time.
Public schools across Tasmania bursting to life after the summer holidays. Around 60,000 students heading off for the first day of school.
Look, it's pretty nerve-wracking. It's trying to get in on top of school uniforms and getting the kids ready. So it's a bit of a military operation getting here this morning.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The traditional start of school picture to be savoured in years to come. A mixture of excitement, nerves and pride as children move to the next stage of their education.
When you stop and think about it, yeah, this is the beginning of a long time ahead of her being out of the home. So it's a big change in our lives as a family.
Campbell Street Primary in Hobart, one of almost 200 public schools, resuming today.
Your lips are zipped.
Prep 1 teacher Mrs Aftab setting the ground rules for the year ahead.
Kids need to know the expectations, and I like to set fairly firm boundaries for them and show them what's expected. Also giving them a sense of having a reward for doing what I think they need to do to become good learners.
And while it may be a straining time for parents, teachers and school staff have also been busy at work.
I've been here for at least 2 weeks getting the classroom set up, getting the work ready for the kids to start, making sure that everything is just ready for the get-go.
Ready for the big year of learning ahead. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Crowds are flocking to Blunston Arena to watch the Aussies battle England in tonight's T20 Tri-Series clash. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson is at the ground. Good evening, Jacqueline. Can we expect a sellout tonight?
Not quite, Joe, but we mightn't be far off. People have begun arriving here at Blunston Arena, and considering we don't see a lot of international cricket played in the state, there's plenty of reason to be excited. Can you tell me why you decided to come along tonight?
We're visiting from the Blue Mountains in Sydney, and this is our first anniversary present from my wife. So, plus the excitement of the 2020. We just wanted to come along and see it live for itself. Yeah.
Just love cricket, and T20's one of the best.
Yeah, I'm not real keen on this 2020 because it's not real cricket, as far as I'm concerned, but it's still good entertainment.
The 50 partnership came up with a bang.
The Aussies began their Tri-Nation campaign on the perfect note with a dominant win over New Zealand last Saturday night, and they'll be hoping that form carries over into tonight. One player the locals will certainly be cheering on is Hobart Hurricanes favourite Darcy Short, who said earlier in the week that he's keen for runs after managing just 4 in his international debut against the Kiwis. And we've all seen what he's capable of with the bat.
Especially after getting given my cap by Ricky Ponting.
And Joe, no doubt Australia will be out for revenge after England dished up a reality check last ODI series. And with the match getting underway at 7:40, there's plenty of general admission tickets left, so it's not too late for people to get down here. Joe.
That's fantastic. We hope Darcy has an amazing night, that's for sure. Divers have collected more than 500 kilos of rubbish from the Derwent River at Sullivan's Cove in a bid to clean up the state's waterways. But the amount of rubbish found at an annual underwater clean-up is down on previous years, with divers saying less litter is being dumped in the water.
Divers from across the state suiting up, ready to delve into the water. This is their view deep in the Derwent River. Over 2 hours, the divers found more than 500 kilos of rubbish.
Bottles, so lots of glass bottles, some fishing rods, acetylene bottles, some jumpers, some shells that had been thrown in, rebar, lots of pieces of metal.
Not to mention discarded cans and even a rusty bike. But Coordinator Andrew Bain says divers expected to find more rubbish than what they did. The group has made solid progress cleaning the river over the past 10 years.
And a lot of the rubbish is older rubbish, so we know that the Taste of Tasmania has done a lot of work to use environmentally friendly products, and hopefully that's shown here that we haven't pulled out a lot of new rubbish, and there wasn't as much rubbish as we've seen in the past.
There's a clear satisfaction among the 30 divers who are seeing their progress year on year.
The Derwent is getting cleaner, so the visibility in the river is getting better and better. That's, I think, to do with less pulp mill and other industrial users putting rubbish into the Derwent.
All debris collected is catalogued for both national and international records. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
The redevelopment of Launceston's Civic Square is halfway through completion. Stage 1 was opened for the first time today. It includes new gardens and a water feature. The city's mayor says there's still a few more things left to finish off in the initial stage, but it's almost there.
We want Civic Square to be a place for people to come, to have events, to enjoy, and we could just see this morning how well it worked, and we're going to have more of that happening into the future, especially as the rest of Civic Square gets completed.
It will be another 3 to 4 months before the entire redevelopment of Civic Square is finished. Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news now, with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has pegged back some ground as global equities recover from a 3-day meltdown on Wall Street. The ASX 200 index rose 43.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.79 US cents and 107.84 New Zealand cents.
The Burnie Football Club has been thrown a lifeline, with the North West Football League voting in principle to let the Dockers enter the competition in 2018. It comes just a day after the 132-year-old club was forced to withdraw from the State League due to lack of player numbers. Doomed one day, resurrected the next. It seems there's now some light at the end of the tunnel for the Burnie Football Club.
Burnie made a presentation to the full board last night, and a motion was moved in to give them in principle support to re-enter our competition.
The NWFL board, along with each club in the comp, unanimously throwing the Dockers a lifeline, making it an 8-team competition for 2018.
Oh, look, it does away with the bye, which is fantastic, and it also adds another quality team, and I think the competition for the NWFL this year is going to be very keen.
The Dockers are expected to be officially welcomed back in at a meeting next Tuesday night. Meanwhile, the bad blood continues to boil between the North Hobart and Kingborough football clubs ahead of the TSL season, with the pair still yet to reach a deal for former North Hobart star Ryan Matthews, who's keen to join his former assistant coach Trent Bomella at the Tigers.
I'm still going through all that process, the transfer fees, arbitration, mediation through the football directors and the TSL, so that's getting sorted out.
It's understood several North Hobart players have been doing their pre-season training at the Twin Ovals and are keen to follow Matthews in jumping ship.
And I'll leave that up to my football director and the board to take care of that. You know, I've just got to control what I can control on the track, and that's what I'll continue to do.
The Navy Blue fanatics were out in force at North Hobart Oval this morning, with Carlton hosting an open training session for fans as part of their pre-season camp in the state.
It's been really good. We trained down in Kingborough on Monday night, and there was a fair few people there till late in the night. We finished up at about 9:30, 10, and everyone was really excited and stayed out in the shorts and T-shirt just to watch us train.
It was a trip down memory lane for the Tasmanian, having played his junior football at North Hobart.
think the last time I had a proper kick around here was about 10 years ago, so it's really exciting, and it feels a little bit weird that I'm down here with an AFL team training on here, but really excited. I've got Mum and Nan coming out to watch today, and it's a real thrill to be back here.
The Blues will have a rest day tomorrow before heading back to Melbourne on Friday. To tennis, and Tasmania's last hope in the Launceston International has bowed out. Hobart's Harry Bouchier going down to fellow Aussie Mark Polmans a 3-6, 1-6 in their second round clash this afternoon. Polmans was far too good for the 22-year-old Tasmanian, wrapping up the match in 1 hour and 11 minutes. He'll now go on to play Australia's Dane Kelly in the quarter-final. And finally in sport, a young Hobart cricketer will realise his dream of playing for Australia tonight, but not quite. Keegan Oates has been selected as the 13th man for Australia in tonight's T20 clash with England, getting the chance to rub shoulders with some of his idols. It's every aspiring young cricketer's dream, getting the call-up to play for his country, or at least be ready to in case things go pear-shaped for the starting 11.
It'll take quite a few injuries, but I hope that doesn't happen for the boys' sake. But no, I think I'll just be happy running the drinks tonight.
As Australia prepares to take on England in tonight's T20 Tri-Series clash at Blunston Arena, the 18-year-old is preparing to play his role as 13th man.
But I got the call yesterday from Ben Rohrer whilst I was bowling to the Australians during a net session. Yeah, I was shocked actually. I sort of asked him if he could repeat it because I wasn't quite sure. I rang Dad straight away, so I was pretty stoked and got him to tell Mum.
It caps off a big 6 months for the Lindisfarne all-rounder, having been selected on the Hobart Hurricanes rookie list for the recent BBL season. And although it would take a disaster of epic proportions for Oates to take to the field as a substitute fielder, he says he'll be relishing the opportunity to rub shoulders with the country's T20 hero.
I won't try and say too much. I'll spoke when spoken to, but yeah, I'll definitely try and learn as much as I can. I reckon I'll might be able to tell the grandkids about this one day. So, no.
Good evening. Hobart 27 today, Launceston 29, Burnie and Devonport tops of 25 degrees. 32 was the high. That was recorded by Ooze, with temperatures all above average for this time of year. Campania 31, Strawn and Grove 29, Flinders Island, St Helens and Wynyard 25, Low Head and Lyoweeney 23 degrees. Onshore wind still has that cloud along the New South Wales and Queensland coasts. A cold front is moving our way over the Bight, and troughs brought cloud down the WA coast and along the top end. And some low cloud over the north and northeast today. That drifted off, leaving the state under fairly clear skies. Tomorrow, the front crosses Tasmania as another high sets up over the Bight. The winds northeasterly at 25 knots over the east before a southwesterly change at 10 to 20 knots as the front moves through. Showery day for Hobart, 24 the top, 24 for Cygnet. New Norfolk, a shower and 26 degrees. For Launceston, a shower or two, 28 the maximum, 26 the high for Devonport, and a shower for Campbelltown as well, 26 the maximum. A morning shower for Burnie, 26, 23 for Strawn, a morning shower for Smithton and 27, and for St Helens tomorrow, a shower or two, 25, 24 for Swansea, and Fingal, 26 degrees. And there's the UV, very high over Hobart and extreme elsewhere. On Friday, showers over the south and east, contracting to the north. Showers over the north again on Saturday. They'll be extending statewide. As we look at Saturday's chart there, statewide showers later in the day. And on Sunday, fine apart from early showers over the south and east. Sunny and warm in Perth tomorrow, even warmer in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne, and sunny weather forecast for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Little cloud, but fine over Hobart, 24 at the moment, 26 in Launceston and 22 right now in Devonport, and that's the way it is, Jo.
Thanks so much for that, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Now back there, number 20. Let's give it a big round of applause. Jacqui Lambies.
And we thank you all for turning out.